Hey, what's up, guys? So when I was hanging these cabinets up in my garage, I ended up stumbling across this knife. Now, this is one that was just terrible. The plunge grind, if you can see that, is completely uneven. It thickens out towards the tip, so the grind on it was just not great. Not great at all. I made a whole batch of these for a family member who got married. He wanted these as gifts for his groomsmen, so I made a whole batch of them, and this one was just not gonna come out of the shop. So I ended up making, I think, 7 of these, and then I made 2 of my big bushcraft knives. But really, ultimately, I made probably a dozen of these, and some of them had bad grinds, bad plunge grinds, the thicker edge, so they just weren't going to leave the shop. But I figured, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grind this handle out, and I'm going to use this thing as a shop knife. No sense in wasting it completely. Yeah, the grinds aren't perfect, but for a shop knife, I don't care if it's perfect. So, and it gives me something to bring to you guys. So I'm going to finish these handles. What I'm probably going to do is break this up into 2 parts. So this video will be just me roughing these handles out on my grinder here, and I'll do another video doing the hand sanding and things like that to smooth them out and make them really nice looking. So anyway, stick around, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get started on this. Alright, guys, so there's multiple ways this could be done. You could, if you wanted to, oh sorry, truck driving by. Busy street today. Anyway, if you wanted to, you could take these pins and put them right here on the grinder and just grind them down flush with the handle. And I know that there are guys who do that. I don't like to do it that way because you're causing a lot of heat with friction, and it could cause the glue in here to come undone, and then your knife handle separates. We don't want that. So what I like to do is I'll take an angle grinder, cut these things down pretty close to the handle material, and from there, if you can see this right here, I kind of did it on this side already. These are cut pretty flush. This one's standing just a little proud, see that there, of the handle material. From there, I'm not too worried about it. Then I'll take it on the grinder and do a little rocking action and get my handles together. So we're gonna go over and use my angle grinder and cut these down first, then we'll come back and hit the grinder up. Now, because my shop's not together and it's a huge mess in here, I'm going to do this the best way I can while holding the blade. I don't recommend doing it this way. I'm just doing it to show you guys how I do this. So I'm going to take my angle grinder right here, and I probably should have used an extension cord, but you know what it is. And now it's probably going to get loud here, guys. You might want to turn the volume down, I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and turn the angle grinder on. I'm just going to grind these pins down. Again, I don't recommend doing it this way. This angle grinder is pretty close to my hand, my other hand here. It's not really the safest way to do this, and I'm not wearing gloves, as you can see, but I've done this several times, so I feel pretty confident that I can do this without, cutting a finger off. So here we go. Alright, there we go. That one's standing a little more proud than the others, but you know what? It's good enough. I'm not too worried about it. So what we'll do now is we'll take it over to the grinder and get the rest of those down and start shaping this handle out. Alright guys, so we're over to the belt sander right here. We're going to go ahead and start working on getting these ground down and getting the handles, getting the handles shaped. Sorry, can't talk today. I am not Englishing well. First, what we're going to want to do is I'm going to want to switch this belt out. It looks like I've got like a 220 on here now, so I'm going to switch that out. Throw that off. Yeah, throw it. Whatever. I'll throw it. It's my shop. I can do whatever I want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 60 grit belt on. This is a fairly new one. You can use a used one if you want, but this is the one I just happen to have closest. And looks like the tracking might be a little off, but that's all right. We'll fix that in a second. Now for this, guys, you're going to want to wear a respirator. And if you're like me and you got a big old beard, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but you need to do it. It's the safest way to do this. And definitely eye protection. So this stuff is very toxic. The epoxy that's used in this micarta, very hard on the lungs.
Here we go.
There we go, the pins are ground down. Now there's one thing I didn't bring out here that I should. Alright, that was stupid. So when you're grinding these, keep in mind these pins are going to get hot. They are going to heat up. Now I did that pretty quick to where they didn't have enough time to heat up, but as you're contouring these handles, you're going to be constantly grinding these metal pins and you don't want them to get too hot. So you're going to frequently want to dip this into a bucket. And spill the bucket of water. You're going to want to dip it into the water pretty frequently just to keep those pins from getting overheated. So, pro tip, water, always have that on hand. Now, back to grinding.
Here we go. I hope you guys can see this.
And all I'm doing is just rocking it back and forth to kind of contour the handle a little bit. Now I want you guys to notice, here I'm going to turn this a little bit. I want you guys to notice I'm using the slack portion of this belt. So this part right here, which has a lot of give, if you can see that. Can you see that? This part right here, I'm not grinding on the actual platen down here where it's hard. You want to grind where it's got a lot of give. So that's what I'm doing. You can kind of see, let me dip it in some water. Cool it down. And it's not getting too hot. I'm being smart about it. So you can see how it's really flat on this side, and on this side it's starting to contour around, and that's what you want. And I'm going to keep working that and just keep working it until it is kind of thinned out. I don't have a specific dimension that I'm looking for, just to where it feels comfortable. Like I said, this is just going to be a shop knife, so I'm not really too concerned about the specifics. So in fact, where it's at right there, I might even leave that side and start working the other side and contour it, and then from there I'll see if that feels good or if I want to take more material off. So here we go.
Remember to dip it in the water. Those pins will get real hot.
Now periodically you see me kind of checking it out, looking at it with my eyes. I'm just looking to make sure these are even, kind of look roughly even on each side. And they're looking good right now, and quite frankly, it's feeling pretty good. So what I'll do from here is I could take it to a higher grit on this grinder and keep going, but I'm pretty happy with the thickness that this is at now, and the best way to make sure I don't overshoot that thickness is just hand sanding. So this is going to be it for this video, guys. There it is, kind of contoured, definitely not perfect by any means, but this is, for me, it's a shop knife, whatever. There are things that I normally would have done if this were a production knife rather than just to be used here in my shop. But first off, you probably noticed some sparks flying. The handle here is a little proud of the scales, so I would grind all that down and make it even and flush. Not really worried about it though. This is my knife, and it's just going to be used here in the shop. And yeah, so trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, tape the blade. I didn't tape the blade up. Yeah, normally I would tape the blade while working on the handles. I'm not worried about it cutting me, but just so I don't scratch it up. But being a shop knife, I don't care if it gets a little scratched, whatever. It gets a little scratched. So I didn't tape the blade up. Normally I would. And in future videos, when I do these little ride along or tutorials with you guys, I'll do it the right way. So here, let me do this. This is, man, it's kind of rough standing like that. So anyway, there it is, guys, and I'll come back and do the hand sanding tutorial, and yeah, that'll be a different video. I honestly, take this off. Whew, look at that beard. Honestly, I just don't have the time to do it all today, but what I will do is I'll start taking this down lower and lower in grits, probably a 120 grit, and then a 220 grit, and maybe a 400 grit, and we'll smooth this handle out quite a bit and oil it up and see if I can get to look a lot nicer. But there you go, guys. You can see it a little close up. Definitely not perfect, but a lot of the imperfections will be fixed with the hand sanding. So alright guys, thanks for coming along. I'll catch you guys on the next video. See ya.